Welcome back, still Rubbin Minds, and of course we have, in celebration of International Women's Month, a very, very dominant woman. Fastest rising star, I don't think will be the way to phrase her anymore. She has come to stay. She is Beverly Naya. How are you there?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Great to have you.
Lovely introduction, thank you.
Very, very short and sweet. We don't have time to waste. If I do recall, based on the records, you were here about 3 years ago or so?
Give 4.5 years ago.
4.5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you actually mentioned something during that interview.
I did. I mentioned the fact that I was starting a campaign called 50 Shades of Black, and eventually I wanted to do a documentary. And at that time, it was just an idea. I was watching the interview just the other day, and I was really fascinated by how far I've come.
So, look at you. So proud of you. Well done.
You so much.
British American, I said British American, British Nigerian.
Yes.
You've come quite a long way. You moved here to Nigeria because of the potential of Nollywood. Mm-hmm. And how has Nollywood treated you so far?
I mean, I won't lie, the early stages of my career were very rocky. You know, I wasn't sure if I had made the right choice, but I think it's definitely paying off now, and I'm appreciative and grateful for everything I've managed to accomplish.
How many years now in Nigeria?
It's almost 8 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
It's been a while.
You deserve all the accolades, so to speak.
Thank you.
Talking about your projects, now you set up your production company and you did a documentary titled Skin.
Skin, yes.
What's that about?
So Skin basically focuses on colorism, which is basically the discrimination within the black race. By that I mean, you know, where one complexion is considered to be more desirable than the other. And as a result of that, it causes like insecurities and conflicts within the black race.
So even within the whole black is beautiful, there are different shades of black?
Of course. Your shade is different from mine.
Oh, I thought we're the same, actually.
No, not like everyone here, like different shades, you know. So it just focuses on that, and it just it just tries to shed some light on the issue and understand why colorism exists in our society and why, you know, one complexion, for example, like lighter skin is more desirable or considered to be more beautiful than other shades. Is
this a thing all over the world, or is this something you realized when you came into Nollywood?
Oh, it's definitely a global thing, definitely a global issue. But then in Nigeria, like, it's definitely something that's affecting us here. And I feel like it's a conversation that's not had enough. You know, I think a lot of people don't know what colorism is, you know, and I think if more people had more knowledge of what it is, then it would kind of affect the society in a more positive light. I
mean, I had to Google it up, let me know, like, you're familiar with racism, and you're like, oh, black versus white. But when it comes to colorism, you were like, okay, what's that about? Were you exposed to this? Were you a victim of colorism in your journey in Nollywood?
Well, not necessarily a victim, but the reason why I decided to do it was because I got bullied when I was young, you know. I got bullied for different reasons to do with my skin. Like, I had eczema when I was really young. I had crooked teeth. You know, I was athletic, so I had like boyish legs, as they used to say. So yeah, it really affected my self-esteem when I was young, you know. And as I got older, I realized that I was still affected by the things that were said about me when I was young. So what led to the colorism issue was because I was doing some research. You know, I just stumbled upon a quote by a man called William Lynch, who was a slave master in the 1700s, and he said, divide the black slaves by complexion and rule them for 300 plus years.
As far back as 17?
As far back as the 1700s. So I was motivated by that because I realized that it was an issue that was still going on in our society today. And considering the fact that I wanted to do an anti-bullying campaign, I figured that colorism is another form of bullying, and it's something that's truly affecting our society. So, I mean, being passionate about anti-bullying, I figured that colorism would be a great cause to take on. So that's how I ended up on this journey.
And how's your response been? I mean, you had people like Ecuador, Diana Yakini, Bobrisky, you know.
Yeah.
What was responsible for your selection of these people in your documentary?
I just needed people who had a story to share, you know. Eku, like, has a story to share, being a light-skinned woman who feels like, you know, who unfortunately has some insecurities to do with the fact that because she's light-skinned, people feel as though she's privileged, you know, and that the reason why she's succeeding is because she's light-skinned. That's an uncomfortable, you know, feeling to have, you know. But that's
a very strong stigma to shake off, especially when people look more to your skin than your talent.
Than your talent, exactly, and that's the society we're in. Diana Yakini has a very strong story as well. Being a dark-skinned woman, you know, in the industry, she was told that. I mean, a crew member told her that if she's not light-skinned by 2018, she's never going to work in the industry.
Wow, in Nigeria?
In Nigeria. So it's like, it's interesting how on one side this is happening, and on the other side, something else is happening.
How, I mean, there are things where you call open secrets, where nobody talks about it, but everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
How prevalent is this in Nollywood when it comes to directors, you know, picking cast and all that? How bad is it? Just give us a rough idea.
I think, I mean, there's like, it happens. Let's just say it exists in our industry, you know. Also, you have this notion that, you know, lighter skin is easier to light, you know. So it's like, so that I don't have to work too hard, I'd prefer to use like a light-skinned person so that I don't have to work too hard. There's that conversation as well. But generally speaking, the focus is more on the fact that as a society, you know, we kind of, I mean, a lot of people feel as though lighter skin, like I must look a certain way. I must look, in order to be considered beautiful, I have to be light-skinned. And this documentary challenges that conversation. And it challenges it to kind of, to help people to realize that all black is beautiful. You know, whether you're light-skinned, dark-skinned, brown-skinned, whatever, you are beautiful just as you are.
Don't you think it has to do with the times? Because there was a time when, I mean, if you look at models, skinny was very in vogue. Everyone wanted to, every model who wanted to be successful had to be skinny. And there was a time when the plus size became fashionable as well, and you had the hips and all that stuff. Do you just think this is another phase?
No, I definitely don't think it's a phase, because it's something that's been happening for years, for decades, for centuries. Do you get what I mean? For example, this same William Lynch guy, his notion was that you put the lighter slaves, the mixed ones, in the house, and you have the darker ones outside on the field. Do you get what I mean? This notion plagues us till today, subconsciously. You know,
I'm actually struggling to try and comprehend the fact that, I mean, let's just take your industry in Nollywood now. People believe if you have a light-skinned protagonist or a lead role actress or whatever the case might be, you tend to it's almost like you're selling more of the sexuality of the character than the talent of the character.
Definitely.
How do you battle this, especially when a lot of people who go out of their way to move from dark and evolve, they literally turn out light-skinned over a couple of years. They use creams and all that stuff just to look.
That's basically it. Like, I just want to, I feel like by educating people and teaching people about self-love and encouraging parents to teach their children about self-love too, I think that's a start, you know, because I feel like if you tackle them young, for example, then you can empower them from when they're young. Because a lot of children don't know what beauty is. They go by what they see on TV or what they're told, because obviously they have impressionable minds. So it's our responsibility as adults to ensure that we are literally instilling these powerful words in our children from a very young age. You are beautiful, you're worthy, you are enough, you're magnificent, you're powerful, you're a masterpiece. These are things that we need to start teaching our young people, you know, because I mean, the society as it is, we already have it hard, you know, from the Western world and whatnot. Why must we do it to ourselves as well?
Do you think the Western world had a major role to play in how it influences what people think about light-skinned people now?
Definitely, because the media projects a certain image. I mean, globally, everyone knows that the most beautiful being in the world is considered to be European. Yeah? So subconsciously, we are all fighting to fit that ideal of what beauty is, without realizing we are, you know. And with bearing that in mind, it's affecting us as a people, you know, and that's basically the motivation behind this documentary and behind the entire campaign, teaching people about loving yourself and, you know, empowering people to just want to be who they are and embracing who they are. That's really...
The definition of loving yourself has evolved over time, where you have people who, and I'm going to go off a bit because of one of the issues that was raised that I think we should touch on is the issue of nudity. A lot of people believe that in loving themselves, they are free to expose themselves. Where do you think the line should be drawn in terms of when it comes to women and nudity and what is appropriate and what is not?
I feel like loving yourself is, like I said earlier, just looking in the mirror, for example, and having affirmative words for yourself. Do you understand what I mean? Thinking positively at all times and focusing more on the good things about yourself than the negatives. I'm talking about the mindset. Loving yourself is a mindset thing, and that's really my focus. I mean, I can't speak on how people express how they love themselves. Do you think
it's all a mindset thing? Because you have people who will go into, they basically go under the knife. Their nose is a certain way, or their hips are a certain way, or they want to look fuller. and they have the means to, and they feel if they do this, it gives them a bit more self-confidence. What do you think about people who go down that route? Is it right? Is it wrong?
I think self-love is about acceptance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about accepting yourself as you are. That's what self-love truly is, in my opinion, you know. Like I said before, like the documentary, my aim is for people to watch it and be inspired and motivated by it, you know. And if I can get one person to reconsider, that would be fantastic. Now, I always have to keep stressing this, that the documentary is not an anti-bleaching campaign. I'm not doing it to target anyone or to judge anyone. I think everyone is entitled to their own path, which is why it's so difficult to answer that question,
Yeah, I know.
you know.
Sorry for throwing you under the bus.
No, it's fine. It's like, I'm just saying, like, that's not my focus at all. So if people have chosen to do that, I'm not here to like tell you.
For that.
Yeah, that's not why I'm here. I'm all about self-love and empowering people just one step at a time. That's basically it. Like I mean, if I can use myself as an example, then why not? But that's it. Like it's not about targeting anyone or throwing anyone under the bus. Like
have you been tempted to change something about you or do something that you're not usually accustomed to get a role, especially in Nollywood, where you have a lot of people who compromise?
Yeah, I mean, I battled a lot with self-esteem when I was younger, you know. And when I moved to the industry, obviously, being born and raised in England, I was now thrown into the deep end of, you know, the culture and the people and all that type of stuff. And I wasn't prepared. And because I wasn't prepared, I found myself trying to alter who I was as a person to suit other people, you know. So I found myself trying to belong, I became a people pleaser. And in the quest to be understood, I definitely lost myself, you know. So I think in that regard, yeah, I have experienced it, but not in a way that I've compromised my dignity or anything like that. Just in a way that has caused me to want to be liked, you know, and want to be accepted. That's dangerous. Like, don't fight to be accepted. Just be who you are.
I mean, we go through some life lessons that brings about this conclusion, but there's some people that are still on their way to realizing this. I think one of the things that caught my fancy, being not just because it's International Women's Month, we had the issue of MC Galaxy and the whole money throwing to basically, I mean, he was throwing money to women online to get nude and objectifying women in such a demeaning way. What's your take to women who believe that is a means to an end in terms of, look, it's just what it is, it doesn't make me less of who I am, etc. and stuff like that, in terms of money and nudity and basically doing those things that you wouldn't necessarily recommend for women to do. But because it has to do with money, they just simplify it and they do it and they move on after that. What's your take or what's your advice to women who do that?
Who do what?
Who, how should I put it, let their guards down because of finance or naira and kobo or dollars for money?
I'm focusing on my skin documentary, you know, but I mean, all I can say really is just that I just feel like at the end of the day, I don't support it, you know, and I feel like it's important for women to know their true worth and their true value, because once you know how valuable you are, there's certain choices you can't make, you know, and I think it's important to trust God at all times. I think once you wholeheartedly know that, you know, God has a plan for your life and God's plans are always going to be greater than your own, then there's certain choices you won't be able to make. Okay.
What's been your greatest victory in your journey so far as an actor?
My greatest victory as an actor, I think probably being in three of the highest grossing films we have in Nigeria.
Okay.
I think that's fantastic, you know, as an actor. And I mean, I think transitioning from actor to producer is just a huge milestone for me. And I'm really, really proud of it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this. It's not yet out. That's the skin. It's not yet out.
Yes, the premiere is on 31st of March.
Okay.
The premiere is sponsored by Nivea.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about it. And the trailer comes out tomorrow. The official trailer comes out tomorrow. Right now, all people have seen it. I mean, people have just seen the teasers, but the official trailer comes out tomorrow. So
let's fast forward 4 years from now, if we're fast forwarding, like 4 years before.
Yeah.
What's the next thing you're looking at working on?
4 years from now, I intend to be global, you know. I intend to be influential internationally, well-renowned internationally. An international mogul that's doing. Do you know why I'm saying it like this? Because 4 years ago, I didn't think I'd be here doing this. So I might as well just speak positively again and say that I will be a global entrepreneur, influential in every way, and inspiring and motivating people around the world, recognized internationally.
I believe you can. If morning shows the day, you've done it before, so you can do it again.
Exactly.
I wish you all the best.
Thank
it's
you so much.
so refreshing getting this angle from an actor like you, and I'm really psyched. I hope to see more of this kind of work.
Yes,
as
definitely.
Well. Still in celebration of our women this month, we have a woman who has returned the sum of 36 million naira in total since 2006. She is a cleaner. She earns meager amount, but she has a heart of gold that we all can learn from. We'll meet her after this break on Rubbin.